Welcome to my channel. What makes a connection truly beautiful? Is it words or something deeper that we cannot see? Today's story is about two people who met in a simple way but shared something rare and real. Stay till the end because this story will show how a beautiful connection can change everything. There were two people living in the same city but in very different worlds. The first was a girl named Lena. She was quiet and thoughtful. She liked simple things, reading books, walking alone, and sitting in peaceful places. She did not talk much, but she felt deeply. She believed that life was more than noise. She wanted something real, something meaningful, but she did not know what it was. Every day, Lena followed her routine. She woke up early, went to work, and returned home quietly. She smiled at people, but her smile was soft and short. Inside her heart, she sometimes felt a small emptiness. In English, we use simple present tense to describe daily life. She wakes up early. She goes to work. She feels something missing. On the other side of the city, there was a boy named Armin. He was different from Lena. He was more open, more social. He talked to people easily and laughed often. His life was full of activity, friends, work, and busy days. But even in his busy life, there were quiet moments. At night, when everything slowed down, he sometimes felt the same emptiness. He asked himself, why do I feel something is missing? Both Lena and Armin lived their lives separately. They did not know each other. They had never met. But they shared one thing, a feeling they could not explain. One evening, both of them looked at the sky at the same time from different places. The sky was calm and wide. For a moment, they both felt the same quiet thought that something important was still waiting in their lives. They did not know it yet, but their worlds were about to meet. The next day felt like any other day. Lena left her home early and walked toward the bus stop. The morning was calm, the air was cool, and the streets were not too crowded. She held her bag and looked around quietly. At the same time, Armin was also walking toward the same bus stop. He was a little late, so his steps were faster. He checked his watch and smiled to himself. I hope I don't miss the bus. Sometimes, life brings people together in simple ways. Lena reached the bus stop first. She stood there, looking at the road. After a few seconds, Armin arrived. He stopped near her, trying to catch his breath. For a moment, they did not notice each other. Then, something small happened. Lena dropped a paper from her hand. It fell near Armin's feet. He quickly picked it up and said, Excuse me, I think this is yours. Lena looked up. Their eyes met for the first time. It was a simple moment, but it felt different. In English, we use polite expressions in such situations. Excuse me. Thank you. You're welcome. Lena took the paper and said softly, Thank you. Armin smiled and replied, You're welcome. That was all. Just a few words. But sometimes, a few words are enough to start something new. They stood there quietly after that. No long conversation, no big introduction. But both of them felt something unusual, a calm, comfortable feeling. When the bus arrived, they got in and sat in different seats. They did not talk again. But as Lena looked out of the window, she thought about that small moment. And as Armand sat quietly, he also remembered her voice. It was just a simple meeting, but something had already begun. After that morning, Lena returned to her normal routine. She went to work, completed her tasks, and spoke only when needed. From the outside, nothing had changed. But inside her, something felt a little different. That small moment at the bus stop stayed in her mind. She remembered the way Armin spoke simple, calm, and kind. She remembered how natural the moment felt. It was not exciting in a loud way, but it was peaceful, and that made it special. In English, we use simple past tense to describe such memories. She met someone. She remembered the moment. She felt calm. These sentences are easy, but they carry deep meaning. Meanwhile, Armin also thought about the same moment. During his busy day, he found himself remembering Lena's quiet voice. He smiled slightly when he thought about it. He asked himself, why do I remember such a small thing? He did not have an answer, but he knew one thing: that moment was not ordinary. Days passed, but both of them kept thinking about each other at random times. When Lena stood at the bus stop again, she looked around without realizing it. When Armin passed the same place, he slowed down a little. They did not meet again immediately, but the connection had already started silently. This kind of connection is not loud or fast. It grows slowly. It feels safe and gentle. Sometimes, a connection does not need many words. It begins with a feeling of comfort, of peace, of something familiar. Both Lena and Armin did not understand it fully yet, but deep inside, they both felt that something had changed. And even without meeting again, their lives were already starting to connect. A few days later, Lena reached the bus stop again. She stood in the same place, holding her bag, looking at the road. The morning felt familiar, but her thoughts were different. Without thinking too much, she looked around as if she was expecting something. And then she saw him. Armin was walking toward the bus stop again. This time, he was not in a hurry. When he saw Lena, he smiled naturally. It was not a big smile, but it felt warm and real. Lena smiled back. This time, the silence between them did not feel strange. It felt comfortable. Armin said, "We meet again." Lena replied softly, "Yes, it seemed so." Their conversation began slowly, just like before. But this time, it lasted longer. In English, we use simple sentences to build conversation. How are you? Where do you work? Do you come here every day? They asked small questions. They gave simple answers. But with each word, they started to understand each other a little more. Days turned into small meetings, sometimes at the bus stop, sometimes during short walks. Their conversations were never too long, but they were always meaningful. One day, Armin said, "I like these small talks. They feel easy." Lena looked at him and replied, "Yes, they feel real." That moment was important. They were not trying to impress each other. They were not pretending. They were just being themselves. And that is how real connections grow, not with big words, but with honest moments. Slowly, they began to share more. Lena spoke about her quiet nature. Armin spoke about his busy life. They listened carefully, without interrupting. They were different, but they understood each other. And with every small meeting, their connection grew stronger quietly, naturally, and beautifully. With time, Lena and Armin began to understand something important. Their connection was not just about meeting at the bus stop or having small talks. It was something deeper, something they both felt but could not fully explain. Now, when they met, they did not feel nervous. They felt calm. Their conversations became more open. They started sharing their thoughts, their fears, and their small dreams. One evening, they decided to walk together after work. The streets were quiet, and the sky was slowly turning orange. There was no rush, just a simple walk and an easy conversation. Armin said, "I feel like I can be myself when I'm with you." Lena looked at him and replied softly, I feel the same. I don't have to pretend. In English, we use simple expressions to show emotional connection. I feel comfortable with you. I understand you. I trust you. These sentences are very powerful, even though they are simple. That moment was different. It was not just a conversation, it was a realization. They both understood that their connection was built on honesty, respect, and comfort. It was not fast or dramatic. It was slow, steady, and real. Lena realized that she was speaking more now. She was not as quiet as before. Armin noticed that he was listening more carefully. He was calmer than before. They were changing not because they were trying to, but because their connection was helping them grow. One day, Armin said something that stayed in Lena's mind. This connection feels different. It feels right. Lena did not answer immediately. She just smiled. But in her heart, she knew it was true. Sometimes, the most beautiful connections are not the loud ones. They are the quiet ones, the ones that make you feel safe, understood, and real. And now, both Lena and Armin knew what they had was something special. Time passed, but Lena and Armin's connection only became stronger. They did not rush anything. They did not try to give their relationship a name too quickly. They simply allowed it to grow in its own natural way. Now, their meetings were not just small moments. They became an important part of their day. A simple walk, a quiet conversation, or even a short message felt meaningful. Lena was no longer the same quiet girl who stayed silent all the time. She spoke more, smiled more, and felt more open. She still loved peaceful moments, but now she was not alone in them. Armin also changed in a quiet way. He was still social and active, but he became more thoughtful. He listened more. He understood that not every connection needs many words. Some connections are strong because of understanding, not talking. In English, we use simple sentences to describe change. They grew together. They understood each other. They felt complete. These sentences show how relationships can change people in a positive way. One evening, they sat together at the same bus stop where they first met. The place looked the same, but everything felt different. Armand smiled and said, "It's strange. Everything started here." Lena looked around and replied softly, "Yes." A small moment became something big. There was a quiet pause, not empty, but full of meaning. In that moment, they both understood something very simple and very deep. A beautiful connection is not about how it starts, but how it grows. Their connection did not change the whole world, but it changed their world. And sometimes that is more than enough. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more simple English stories. Like this video if you believe real connections still exist. And comment below what makes a connection beautiful for you. Thank you for watching.